Johnny Murray here, and welcome to a brand new tier list. Today, we're going to be doing a tier list on every video game genre, subgenres. We're going to be doing all of it. As you can see, I have a lot. And I mean a lot here. Some of these, I'll be honest, I'm not going to know, like, off a name. Like, see, the thing is, I've played a lot of games. And when I say I played a lot of games, like, from, like, 2019 to 20 to present day, I've pretty much played every game that has come out. Literally, like, no exaggeration. Like, it's just crazy. It honestly blows my mind how many games I've actually played. But even all that, I've went back and I have like every console to ever exist over there. And I've played a bunch of classics. I play a bunch of older titles. And so yeah, I have played a lot of genres. I've probably played all these genres, but some of these I don't even like know the wording. So I may have played a game, but I don't even like what is Muso? Like, what is that? And then what classifies it as an open map? I know open world, but what is open map? You know what I mean? So there's gonna be some weird stuff we're gonna have to figure out, but for the most part, we're gonna be doing a tier list on all genres in video games. If you guys love video games, consider subscribing, sharing with your friends. I appreciate any support you guys give me, especially the support here in this video right now. But without further ado, let's get talking about video game genres and placing them on a tier. Now we have 6 tiers here, 7 including the black hole one, right? We have goated, which are my absolute favorite genres. Anytime there's a game of that genre, I'm just gonna be automatically sold, and I'm gonna automatically be super duper excited. And are some of my favorite games of all time. Like, looking at what games are in my top 10, top 20, top 50, what genres make it in there the most. Those are gonna be the goateds. Then we have ones that are in love. They may show up on some top in my top lists, but there's not as many, or there's some where there are games that I don't necessarily love as much as others, or there will be some where it takes me a little bit more to get sold on it, but for the most part, I'm excited and interested. Big fan is the ones that I tend to like most of the time, but there's definitely some that I do not like, and then there's some where it just depends if the game looks good or not. Will I play it? And then there's it's really going to take a lot to interest me, but there have been games in the past that I have enjoyed. Not a fan. I mean, ones that, you know, maybe I've liked a couple games, but for the most part haven't really been up my alley or for me for the most part. And then ain't for me are games that it's just really hard for me to find a game that I like in that genre. There might be one or two, but like for the most part, it's just not a genre for me. So let's go ahead and let's do it. I'm gonna try and do this one a little bit more quicker because I don't want this video to be too long. So let's get started with action. So now this is interesting because there's definitely a lot of different action stuff. So there's action adventure, there is action horror, there's action RPG. So when I'm looking at action, I'm thinking of something like, I'm gonna say something like Super Hot or something like Ghost Runner type thing, where it's just straight action. Like it's almost like an arcade almost, where it's like levels and you're just going through. I would in a way kind of consider something like Devil May Cry just an action game, but I think it's a little bit more than that. I think for the most part, when just looking at just baseline action games, I think I'm more of I'm definitely a big fan. Like, there's a lot of action games I love, and a lot of action games just look really fun. So I'll say I'm a big fan of just straight. Actually, I might say it's because when I think about the ones that I really love are the things like Devil May Cry, are the things like Dying Light 2, which is action RPG. So we'll get into that a little bit later. We might have to come back to that one. But all right, looter shooter. I'm going to put not a fan. I was thinking about putting ain't for me because I just haven't really liked the looter shooter in a while. But I do love the Borderlands series. That is a series I very much enjoy. So I can't put a whole franchise that is one of the most dominant franchises in this genre. I can't say I love that and then put it at bottom tier. So I'm going to say not a fan. But Destiny, I'm not really a fan of. I like the first one. Wasn't a fan of the second one, but yeah, we're going to go not a fan. Tactical shooter. It's just not for me. These are the ones where, you know, you're like isometric and you're like aiming your cursor in like a circle to try and shoot. It's top down stuff. Not really for me. I believe that's what tactical shooter is. Correct me if I'm wrong though. Beat 'em up, I'm a big fan of beat 'em ups. Let's just be honest here. Beat 'em ups are super fun. See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, you could consider some of these just straight action games, but beat 'em ups are a more specific type of game where more often than not they're so high quality. There's quite a few out there. And yeah, I have a lot of memories. Streets of Rage, TMNT, Shredder's Revenge, Battletoads even. There's a lot of great beat 'em ups out there, but then you can even go to something like the Judgment games or stuff like that, where it really is just fun to just beat them up. Hack and slash, very similar. I am gonna say big fan as well. I think when I'm looking at the top 3 tiers, goated, in love, big fan, I don't think hack and slash has done enough for me personally to be in love or goated. There are a lot of hack and slashes that I love. My number 1 is Devil May Cry. Easy. Devil May Cry is just, I mean, in my opinion, debatably, it's up for debate to be the best hack and slash out there. I mean, it's been in the game for so long, and it's helped just revolutionize the genre. But, you know, when I think of things like Bayonetta, when I think of things like Nier, if you would even consider that hack and slash, which I would. When you think of things like FF16, I think for me, I've enjoyed those games enough to say I'm definitely a fan of them. But would I say I love them? Would I say they're some of my favorites? No, but I am definitely a big fan of them. Fighting, I'm in love with fighting games. Fighting games have always been one of my favorites. I will say recent years they have kind of gone down, not because of the games. The games have been going up. Like, we're in low-key like a renaissance era of fighting games. It's just, for me, like, as a player, I've noticed myself playing less of fighting games. Not like in the case of, like, okay, I might skip out on this fighting game. I've played almost every fighting game to come out. It's, when I look at, like, when Injustice 2 came out, I played that game for, like, a year straight, because I was just so addicted to that game. Whereas now, when Tekken 8 comes out, when Street Fighter 6 comes out, I play it for, like, a week or 2 or 3, and then I kind of let go of it, and I haven't really revisited it. And so, while I love playing the fighting game and trying it out and beating the main story, I think when I look at, like, does it make my top games of the year list? Does it, you know, leave a lasting impression on me? No. So I'm gonna say it is. I'm in love with it, because at the end of the day, I do love what the genre brings to the table. Platform. Now this is interesting because we have 2D and 3D platformer over here, so I'm not even going to put that one on there. I'm not even gonna put that one on there because we have literally the 2 platformers there. So, first person shooters. So I'm gonna say this is like Call of Duty. I'm gonna say this is like, you know, your Battlefields of the world. The question is this including like the Doom games and stuff like that? Because that would make it a completely different story. So I'm taking a look here, taking a look at if there is another. Doesn't look like it. Okay, so first-person shooter is first-person shooter. So, at that point, ooh, a first-person shooter. I mean, I think I'm in love with them. I think. I mean, okay, so the problem is, if it was Call of Duty or Battlefield or whatnot, I would probably put it like, it's aight. But the fact that there's like Doom, if we're talking like BioShock, we're talking Wolfenstein. Those are all games I absolutely love, man. I mean, we could even be talking about Halo. No, it's got to be in love. It's got to be in love. First-person shooters, got to go in love. Yeah, they're just so fun. There's so many great franchises, so many great games. Has to go there. Third-person shooters, going big fan. There are games that I did definitely like third-person shooting. But for the most part, especially, the way I look at it, I think for me, the way I look at it, first-person shooter, third-person shooter, it has to have a multiplayer mode. And you may be thinking, okay, then why are you including Doom and stuff like that? Doom does have a multiplayer mode. It's not big. It's definitely not the focus, but it does. I will say, I will take back Wolfenstein. I don't know if I would necessarily consider that a like straight up first person shooter. There is shooting in first person, but I don't know. It is, but I don't know. It's a really complicated topic to try and tackle. I mean, it is a first person shooter. I don't know. We're just gonna go with what I got. Run and gun. Honestly, these really aren't games for me, but I guess if you do consider Returnal this, then it is, but it's definitely more than just running and gunning. Like, to me, these are like the like side scrollers where you're just constantly running and shooting, like going up and down, dodging obstacles. Whereas I just see Returnal as like a third person shooter. And yeah, for those of you, I'm gonna say running guns are not for me. For those of you wondering why I put third person shooter in big fan, because Returnal is my second favorite game of all time. That's like the only third person shooter in my top 10. I mean, hang on, let me pull up my top games of all time just so I have this as a reference. Yes, I have a list. Yeah, let's take a look here. So Returnal is indeed like the only third person shooter outside of a 3D platformer, which is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. So, you know, for me, I'm definitely gonna say that. Whereas I have Titanfall 2 in the mix. You know, ooh, you know what? It's actually gonna go in love. Gears of War and Just Cause and stuff like that can be considered third person shooters. Holy smokes, that was loud. Yeah, never mind. I'm gonna say I'm in love with both of those. But more often than not, I do get way more excited for. All right, I'm gonna stick with this. Arena shooters, ain't for me. I'm not a big arena fan in general. Hero shooters, if it's good, then it's like it's so fun. But there's so many duds and so many misses. It's just like, and we're kind of getting tired of the genre. It's either it's I or not a fan. I think for me in today's, I think I'm gonna say it's I. I'm gonna say it's I just because there are some great ones out there, and you know I do tend to get a little bit interested in some when they're announced, but more often than not they don't ever really stick the landing. So yeah, I'm gonna say it's I. Artillery, not really a fan, but I can see where those are kind of fun. I mean, no, they're not for me. Stealth. See, now I've said this a lot. When it comes to a strictly stealth game, to me, I think they're alright. I'm not the biggest stealth person, but I love when games incorporate stealth into them. So like Assassin's Creed, if we're talking like Ghost of Tsushima, right? Those are games that are not stealth games, but they have stealth elements and there are stealth segments. I do love when you incorporate stealth into the core gameplay. It's just not fully a stealth game. So I'll say it's alright. Like the only one I can really think of that I love is, of course, Splinter Cell. But then Metal Gear is great. But outside of those two, you know, there's not a whole lot I can really say. Survival horror is going to be our first goated. This has quickly become a top 3 genre for me. It might even be my favorite genre right now as of 2024. I mean, Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Dead Space, Alan Wake 2, Alien Isolation. We have Chronos, The New Dawn that was just announced. There are so many survival horror games that are just so fantastic. Like, almost every survival horror game is fantastic in their own way. I have not played a survival horror game in so long that has not either become A, one of my favorite games of all time, or B, has wowed me to any, like, every survival horror game I've played has just been absolutely top tier. I have 3 different Resident Evils in my top 50. I have Dead Space in my top 50. I have Alan Wake 2 in my top 50. I'm probably going to have Silent Hill 2 in my top 50 after I finish that. I'm absolutely loving it. You could even say a Plague Tale, like a Plague Tale, Requiem and Innocence are horror games, survival horror games. Those are there. It's just such a high quality and high quantity genre. I just absolutely love survival horror right now. I'm literally instantly sold on anything survival horror from the get-go. Battle Royale, not a fan, but I can respect it, and there are some good ones out there, so I'll put it there. Ooh, now here we go. We have 2D and 3D fighting. I'm gonna just say right now, 2D fighting is. Ooh, actually, you know what? I'm gonna remove fighting games from the whole equation because we have 3D and 2D. 2D fighting games are easily where I'm at. 3D fighting games, I'm a big fan of. But for the most part, 2D fighting is where we're at. Mortal Kombat, Injustice, Street Fighter. Technically, Tekken is kind of 3D. I'm gonna, you get the picture. 2D and 3D platformers. Now, this is not even really a debate. For me, I think 2D platformers are fun, but they're not anything that I necessarily love a lot. Whereas 3D platformers, low-key could go in goated for me. I mean, if I'm looking at Ratchet and Clank, if I am looking at... Well, actually, that might be my only 3D platform in my top 50. Oh, well, it depends. It depends what you... Ooh, Metroid. That's a 2D platformer. Okay, 3D platformer is going in love, and 2D platformer is going in big fan. That's what I'm going with. Oh, because then you even have like things like Ori. Then you have like Hi-Fi Rush in 3D. You have Astrobot 3D. Prince of Persia 2D. Yeah, I would say I'm definitely going with 3D and in love, 2D and big fan. But don't worry, there will be another 2D type game later that I'll be talking about. Endless Runner, I have no idea what this is. I'm guessing that this is like Temple Run and stuff like that. I could really care less. I'm not gonna even rank that. Survival games, I'm a big fan of them, but they have been lowering in my love for them quite a bit over the past few years, just because I haven't really been at very many good ones. But Subnautica 2 is just announced, and I'm pretty excited for that. So here we go. Action adventure is going to be our next goated one, and as of right now, this is my number one genre, just because, I mean, to me, this is like the video game genre. This is your Star Wars of the world. You can even consider survival horror games this. You can consider some first-person shooters this. You can consider some third-person shooters. You can really consider almost anything action adventure, but you get the God of Wars, you get the Ghost of Tsushimas, you get the you could even say Ratchet and Clanks, you get the Black Myth Wukongs of the world, you get Spider-Man, you get Zelda games, you can even say Final Fantasy games, but those are more RPGs, Uncharted's, you get the picture, Assassin's Creed's, you get the picture. Action adventure is just like it's just goated. It's just goated. Out of every genre, this is the one that I have the most games in my top lists of all time. So, yeah. Metroidvania, this one is also going goated. I've thought about this a lot. These are just games that I absolutely love every single time, and games that I get interested in every single time. I have Metroid Dread in my top 10. I have Prince of Persia Lost Crown in my top 50. I have Ori and Will Wisp in my top 50. I have so many Metroidvanias that I just absolutely love. I think it just has to go goated. Adventure, see, we already have action adventure. I don't think that's really, we're not even going to do that one. Psychological horror. Now, to me, this is also just survival horror, just a very specific game. Like, this is literally just Silent Hill or Alan Wake, but we just classify those as survival horror. Now, action horror. So, I'm guessing this is like... What would this be specifically? Action horror. I don't know what we would classify this as, so I'm gonna say I don't know, or I'm just not even gonna rank it. I'm not even gonna rank it. Text adventures ain't for me. Absolutely not. Graphic adventure, not for me. Absolutely not. Point and clicks, absolutely not. Puzzle, it's alright. It's alright. I can get behind a good puzzle games, but it's not very often. Walking simulators. Not a fan, but some people are gonna say that this is Death Stranding, and I do love Death Stranding, so I'll put it not a fan for now. Interactive film, ain't for me. Visual novel, ain't for me. You guys can already see the games that I do not like off of these. Text adventure, graphic adventure, point and click, interactive film, visual novel, yeah, not enough for me. Gotcha games, ain't for me. No, thank you. Now, horror. Okay, so this is where I'm going to consider this like Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm considering this like Dead by Daylight. I'm considering this like the Friday the 13th game. Like, these horror games are just for simple, like, quick and easy fun. And these are games that I'm big fans of. I'm a big fan of horror games just in general. So definitely gonna go there. Jump scare horror, get out of here. Action RPG. So this is where we're getting your Dying Lights of the world. This is where we are getting your Skyrims of the world. This is where we are getting the Witchers, the Cyberpunks. This is where we are getting Dragon Age, I would even say, Mass Effect. This is debatably a goated one for me, but when I look at some of my favorite games of all time, there's not a whole lot there, so I'm going to say in love with. I'm going to say I'm in love with action RPG. It is going to go to the top of in love. Sandbox RPG, I know what it is, but like, I don't really care. Reverse horror? The heck does that mean? Does that mean like you play as the monster? I don't know. Masocore? Don't even know what that is. MMO. Ain't for me. I cannot get behind MMOs. For some reason, I just can't like MMOs. And same thing with that. RPG. Now, I'm not even going to rank this because we do have a bunch of different RPGs, so we're going to dissect them more. First person. Wait. Whoa. First person party-based RPG. I don't even know. Tactical RPGs. Here we go. I'm not a fan of tactical games, I'll be honest. But turn-based RPGs, I'm in love with. I love turn-based RPGs. We're talking Final Fantasy. We're talking like Super Mario RPG. I know it's a weird one off rip, but but it is what it is. We're talking, just off the top of my head, I don't know why. This isn't even one that I love, but like the Yakuza games are ones that we can talk about. Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope is like in my top 5 favorite games of all time. That is a turn-based RPG. Yeah, I'm absolutely in love with them, and I've been getting more in love with them every single year. Roguelikes are also games that I'm absolutely in love with. However, I might actually put this in big fan, because there's not. Oh no, I do love me some roguelike. No, yeah, never mind. I'm in love with roguelikes. Hades 2, Returnal. I mean, just those two off rip. I mean, so good. But no. All right, we're gonna stick with in love. City building, not really a fan, but I can respect them. I do like me some tycoon games sometimes. Colony management. This is like Civilization and stuff like that. No, thank you. Roguelike was already on there. RPG shooter. Don't know. There's so many overlapping genres, so we're kind of having to do that. Dungeon crawlers. Dungeon crawlers, I'm not really a fan of. Souls-like. Here we go. Okay, so this is an interesting one. I have stated my opinion on Souls-like so many times. I have played a lot of them. I have beaten some of them. I have beaten Sekiro. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. I have beaten, if you want to consider Souls-like, I have beaten Black Myth Wukong. I have gotten like 75% of the way through Elden Ring. I have played a large chunk of Demon Souls, Dark Souls 3, Bloodborne. I've played so many of them. I do think they're kind of overrated. However, they are so good still. Like they're still so good, and there are some that I absolutely love. Like I love Sekiro, I love Black Myth Wukong. But when I look at a Souls game, these are games I don't typically get excited for, just because I know the commitment and I know how hard they are, and so it's not something I'm like counting down the days till. But I know when I get in there and when I actually start playing, I'm gonna absolutely love it. I think for me, I'm gonna go big fan. I'm not like over the moon for these games, but at the end of the day, I do like a lot of them. I do love a lot of them. And they are games I typically play. So I'm going to go with big fan. Simulation, I think they're alright, depending on the simulation game. CMS, not exactly sure what that means. Life simulation, so this is like Sims. I'm not even gonna rate that. It's like it's literally just ranking Sims at that point. Sport management, no, I'm gonna rank sport when we get there. Business, nope. Factory, nope. Auto battler, nope. MOBA, not a fan of MOBAs, but I do love Pokemon Unite. Gotta shove that one in there. Government simulation, oh my gosh. Dating simulation, no thank you. Endless runner. No, wait, I'm stupid. My bad. I just had a mad mind trip. Not gonna lie. Sport. I'm gonna be honest. I'm a big fan of sport games, man. I'm a big fan of sports games. Whether it's boxing, whether it's football, whether it's the Mario spin-offs, whether it's just other things. I think sports are fun, man. They're nothing amazing, but they're fun. They're really, really fun. Vehicle simulation, no. We're just gonna go to racing, and racing I'm also a big fan of. I'm a big fan of a lot of racing games. Forza Horizon being at the top, Need for Speed being at the top. I enjoy Mario Kart, you know, I enjoy those kind of games, Wipeout, stuff like that, but for the most part, not in love with them, just really enjoy them. Strategy. So these are like your card games kind of type thing, I'm guessing. I'm gonna go with, I'm not a fan, but there are some good ones out there. 4X, this is like Civilization type stuff, but I'm not even gonna rank that. Real-time strategy. So this is like, I want to say this is like your, I don't know what you would consider real-time strategy. RTSs, okay. Not really a fan, personally. I mean, I'm thinking like Stormgate. I'm thinking of like Our History Untold, right? I'm talking Age of Empires. I think we're talking about things like that. Not really for me. Sandbox games, they're alright, depending on the sandbox game. Alright, open world. This is going to come in as a crazy statement, ladies and gentlemen, but open world, I'm a big fan. And that's as high as I'm going. I much prefer linear games over, you know, you get what I'm trying to say. Over open world games. Jeez. Turn-based strategies. I mean, these are, I mean, I do love turn-based strategies. I do like turn-based RPGs more. I mean, really anything strategy for me is going to go a little bit lower. Turn-based, I don't know. I don't really know if I've played enough of these, to be honest. Just not going to rank that one. Real-time tactics. Same thing with all these. I don't really... Tower defense. Low-key a big fan of these. I love me some tower defense games, man. Let me tell you. Board games, alright. Card games, not really a fan. Photography games, I barely played any. I'm going to say I don't know. I don't care. Trivia games, they're alright. They're fun. Open map, Muso, Roguevania, really. Open level. Arcades, they're alright. Shoot 'em ups, choices and consequences. Ooh, so this is like the Cory Until Dawn type things. Ooh, I'm a big fan of these. These are fun. You can even say Dragon Age and Mass Effect, stuff like that. These are really fun. I'm definitely gonna say that. Okay, we get to Bullet Hell. Not gonna rank that. Clicker Games. Not gonna rank that. Runner, Idler, Rhythm games. I'm a big fan of. I love me some rhythm games, for sure. Yeah. Let's see. We got. And I think we're just back to what. Yeah. And now we're back to the start. So there we have it. There are all the video game genres ranked. I know it's a big mess because there's so many overlaps and there's so many duplicates, and it's just really hard sometimes. But for the most part, my top 3. Ooh, this is a crazy top 3. Low key, I just realized. Ooh. Do I even agree with this? Hold on. I don't know if I would say Metroidvania is a top 3 for me. It's definitely top 5. I said we would come back to it. I think there it is. I think action RPG is my. I think that is in my top 3. Now I think about it. Because let's talk about it real quick. So like action RPG, that is also Black Myth Wukong. You know, that is your Death's Door, maybe even of the world. That is your Immortals Phoenix Rising, that kind of stuff. I do think that is up there and above Metroidvania. I think that's the only ones that go above Metroidvania. That I can't think of anything else that would go above Metroidvania, and I think that's what we're gonna roll with. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm happy with this. These are definitely my top genres for sure. But as you guys can see, I've played a lot of genres, and I like a lot of genres. There are a lot that I like. Rhythm is the one you guys can't see right here, by the way, underneath my face cam. But yeah, there's a lot of genres and stuff that I like. I'm actually gonna go ahead and shrink this in case you guys wanted to get like a final little picture of what my tier list is looking like. But let me know, what are your favorite genres in terms of video games? I'd love to have a conversation about that in the comment section below. But thank you also for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Johnny Moore out. Peace.